All right. Good morning, everybody. So this is the last video of probably the last. Who knows, right? But this is probably the last video of the AWS Lambda Serverless Node.js series. And now in this video, we're gonna be automating the deployments. So in the past, I always copied and pasted these variables as these environment variables, and then ran the npm run release manually. Now, I think I mentioned that before. It's not the best idea for a couple of reasons. First, you do have to do it manually, right? Which means, if you want to do a release, you have to manually type that in. And manually doing something is always error prone, right? There's always a chance that you're going to miss something, or you're going to do something incorrectly, or whatever. So that's why you want to have that automated. The second thing is there's also a matter of access to these, or permissions of these deployments, right? Not everybody should be able to do these deployments. And then at the same time, it's a bit harder to set up, well, let's say, access control for AWS rather than GitHub, what we want to do, right? So my usual setup is that we want to have on pushing to the main branch, and then also on tags. And you can also restrict that, but you usually want to restrict that anyways, right? You want to let maybe 2 or 3 people create tags, but not the whole team. And pushing to main or develop branch or whatever you have should probably be okay for everybody as long as there's a pull request review or something like that. And then, I mean, obviously, if you want to have a new build every time you push to the main branch, I think the admin would be like the DevOps guy, or whoever has the permission to make a release. He would be pretty busy to always create a manual new deployment. So yeah, a lot of reasons why automating that is better. Okay, well, permissions. That's a good segue into what we need to do. So there's 2 parts. We need to set up GitHub Actions, which is fairly easy. It's also creating template files, and then, or config files rather. And then we also need to create a programmatic user for AWS, so that we can actually deploy it from GitHub, right? Because AWS doesn't know what the GitHub, let's say a virtual machine, who that is, and if it's supposed to be able to deploy or not, right? So these are the 2 things: adding a user with permissions, programmatic user, and ideally only those permissions, right? We don't want to have this programmatic user be able to, I don't know, remove and add other users, right? That could be a potential security threat. So just these permissions, and then secondly, use that user in a GitHub action to actually make the deployment. So let's get started with the first one, with creating the user. So you need to go to IAM in AWS, and then click on there, go to user, and then add a user. What am I gonna call them? Serverless Node AWS. Well, no, we're an AWS Academy. Doesn't matter. You can call it whatever you want. And here I'm just creating one user for both dev and production. I'm not gonna do that for either for each of those. You could do that if you're very careful, but I'm okay with just having one user. It's the same procedure. I'm sure you can, if you know how to do one, you can do it for the second one as well. Okay, next up, permissions. Okay, and then we're gonna attach existing, we're gonna create a new inline policy. I think it's called inline policy. Maybe we have to give it a name, but that doesn't matter much. So here, there's gonna be a there's gonna be a mouthful, and originally I had to like just iterate through it, trigger a build and go to CloudFormation. But luckily for you, I already did that, so I do have the full permissions table, or permission statement. So I'm gonna we're gonna go through these and we're gonna explain what they are, and then I'm probably gonna add a file so we can just copy and paste that. Well, maybe I'm just gonna put it in the README. AWS permissions, and then gonna have this here. Okay, then we're gonna go through them. Okay. XXX. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, let's go through them. Okay. First two are for S3. Remember, I think I mentioned that. Not super important, but we created two buckets. Well, one for each environment, where the source files lie. I think it's the source files. So you have to list those here, right? Just replace each of that. So that's the dev one, that's the production one, dev one, production one. Important for the second one, there has to be a slash asterisk. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. Okay, second one, CloudFormation. So we're using CloudFormation to manage the infrastructure, right? Nothing crazy, but yeah, it has to have access to that to create the services or update the services. Then IAM get role. I'm not 100% sure what that is used for, but that's necessary. I found that out through through debugging. Well, and here there's not much of a threat there, right? It's just getting a role. It's not using or getting any credentials or whatever. Then function listing. So here you don't need it's not writing anything, but it's just listing all the functions that you have in your account. Actually, the last one is writing to editing a function. Well, actually, it can do anything, removing it, creating it, or updating, changing the code, making a new version, whatever. And yeah, these are basically the permissions that we need. I'm gonna create that and review. Okay, let me name it CI. Copy that. Okay. Create the policy. Okay, and then we can, I'm probably gonna add that here. Okay. Next tags, next review. Okay, create user. I'm gonna do that in a second. I just wanted to S3 bucket name. And I'm gonna have dev here. That you know which one you have to replace. And then function arn and function arn dev. Well, where do you get these values? The bucket. the bucket, we gave the name, right? Remember in the beginning, we had that in a config, and now we have that here somewhere. So bucket name, there we go. And then the function arn, we're gonna have that. Let me see, you can go to Lambda and then go to that matching function, however you named it. And then the function arn is here. You can just copy that and then paste that inside. Okay. Yeah, so that is in the README. Let's go. Create user. Okay, well, this is a step that I'm not going to show, and you should have those fairly secure, right? I'm gonna drag that out so you guys cannot see that. Okay, let's see. And I'm gonna use that later on to actually put that somewhere. Okay. I mean, there's nothing much that you could do with it, but still, I just want to make sure. Okay. Well, good. We do have those. Now we can continue with the GitHub Actions. Let me actually create. So there's a we're gonna get to this to the actions in a second, but let me actually I'm here already. Let me get one thing out of the way, which is the secrets, right? So these are can be used in the functions later on. So I'm gonna plug in the function, the secrets here, the AWS Access key and the secret key or whatever they're called. I'm gonna plug that in, and then we can use it later on. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then see you in a bit. Okay, well, there we have it. I did add these two variables here. I'm not sure if I said that. You can go to the repository and then to the let me see, to the settings. Okay, and then go to secrets, and then the repository secrets. You can add a new one. And I named them AWS Access Key ID and AWS Secret Access Key. And I think that's the naming that AWS actually gives. Okay, well, now as for the actual GitHub actions, we're gonna have two. And how you declare actions is simply by adding .github. Is it .github? Yes, it's .github folder. And in there, you're gonna have a workflows, and then I'm gonna have one for dev YML and one for production YML. But I'm gonna do the dev one first. Actually, probably doesn't matter if you call it YAML or YML. Yeah. Okay. Well, here again, I'm just gonna copy and paste my existing workflow, because that's always, I mean, there's no point in trying to remember that. Yeah, so just copy pasting them, and then gonna walk you through it. So name, you can give it whatever you want. I'm actually gonna switch that around. I thought this one is better. Dev release. Okay, and then branches. So yeah, this basically is on every branch. Not on every branch, on every push to the branch main. I'm gonna run on Ubuntu. There's always also an option to run on Windows or macOS, but here for normal CI stuff, that's just fine. Node.js 14. That's one thing that I wanted to change. Actually, what I like to do is have the engines node 14.x in the package JSON, and then also in the SAM template. Right, there is the express lambda function has the runtime, and I'm gonna use 14. You can use 12, you can use whatever version, probably not whatever, but 8, 10, 12, 14 I think should be okay. But yeah, I like to just keep up to date, and that's why I go with 14. And there, maybe one more thing, memory size can probably be reduced. So the way Lambda is billing is that they're calculating, I think, gigabyte minutes or gigabyte hours, and you can check out the pricing on their website. But yeah, in the end, you're not gonna need as much for this project. At least you're gonna see. You can also probably see the memory consumption somewhere here. I'm not quite sure if that's here, but I'm sure metrics. Yeah, I don't know where that is. I'm sure you can find it somewhere, but yeah, 1 gigabyte is definitely too much, and then you can execute 4 times as many functions without paying anything more. Okay, this little detour, very nice. And then let's go back to this one here. Okay, well, uses actions checkout. That's the base action or the base step. Then use node version. And you might be wondering if we need to install the AWS CLI, and that we don't need to do that. We do well with GitHub with the Ubuntu latest. The AWS CLI is already installed, so you don't need to install that manually. And then install node modules. Well, that's pretty self-explanatory. Set version, that's an extra step that I like to do. We don't need to do that right now, I think. This is basically that on tags and on development, I like to set the package JSON version. I like to override that and give it either debug version or the version that I created the tag with, the GitHub tag. Let me actually show you real quick. So you can create a new release here, and then it's going to create a tag, and then you would go something like version 3 or like 1.0.0. We're going to do that later. And then there's a way to transfer that into your package JSON so you always know what version you're using. But yeah, I'm not going to do that right now. If you're interested, let me know, and then I can create another video about that. Okay, let's get back. Okay, and then release, npm run release. And then it's gonna use all the environment variables, right? And so far, we don't have many. We have the environment. This is actually not needed at the moment, I think. But in case we have any scripts that we want to run, then it comes in handy to have the same environment as the function that we have later on running in the cloud. So I like to set that. Then the AWS access key ID and AWS secret access key. This is being used automatically with the AWS CLI, right? So once those are present, you don't need to configure anything else, right? It's going to use that to make the requests. And here we're passing secrets.aws access key and so on, which we defined earlier in the settings. Okay, now the final thing that we need to do is have the environment variables that we have here, right? So we have all these, and that's what we did manually. Now I'm just going to put them here and convert them. There we go. A little bit of a different syntax. Okay. There we have it. And that should be it. Now, yeah, now all we need to do is really just push to the repository. Then we should have the first action. Let me change one more thing. This one here, the stage, we don't need that anymore since we have the custom domain, right? Okay, and yeah, I mean here that's exactly why I do this version override, because now when I deploy it through GitHub, I don't know if that went through or not, right? So what I would usually do is version and then use the package version. So require package JSON, and then I can go package JSON.version. Yeah, still, I'm not gonna have the script here right now, but I'm just gonna have get true, and hopefully that's gonna work. Okay, now let me create a commit. Set up GitHub Actions for dev. Oh, it's just one action. So, and now let's see if when we push, if that is going. And there we have it. It's the first GitHub action that we have. And then, yeah, that's gonna run. It's not gonna take too long actually. Usually it takes a couple of like maybe 1 minute or something like that. In the meantime, I'm just gonna have the create a status batch. That's really nice. Gonna create main. No status so far. That's okay. And then I'm gonna put that in the README. You see, that's pretty quick already. Like, I don't know, 20 seconds altogether, and then it's already releasing. I'm gonna have this one here, and gonna have actually the same. Yeah, well, no, dev.academy dot. Geez, I forgot the URL. There we go. Okay. Let me actually review if that is working. Open. Working. Okay. Well, yeah, it's not gone through yet. And release is failing. Well, that's not good. That's not good. Let's see. Let's see. I do have the badge already. That's fine. So let's see why the release is failing. Okay. Why script? Oh. Well, fail to create, update the stack, run the following command. So this is what I meant. Yeah, if we need to debug, then we need to go there. What is it? Stack cloud formation. Yes, exactly. Oh. There is a problem. Update. Fail to update. Node is not authorized to perform pass role. Okay. 4.3. Access denied. Pass role on resource. Interesting. So let me go to IAM and compare what we have, because I do have a user already that I'm using. Oh. So get role. That should be okay. Lambda. Information access. I have the split up here into 4 different policies. Get role. We have that here. Cloud formation. I am get role. Resources. Not sure. I am pass role. Well, seems like that's necessary. I'm not sure why it's necessary for this, for that one user and not for the other one. Because, oh, did I miss the get role? No, the get role is here. Oh. We'll see. Hopefully. Well, with these permissions, it's always a little bit tricky. Let's review that and then save changes, and hopefully that's gonna be okay. I'm gonna do another push. Well, actually, I can just still running. Used to be still running. Crazy. Rerun all jobs. Okay. Well, yeah, it's gonna run for a bit. In the meantime, I'm gonna create the production build, production release. Then it's gonna be somewhat the same, just that we're gonna have different environment variables, and we're not gonna have it on branch pushes, but actually on all tags. Okay, and then I'm gonna remove those and add these. The production one. Yep, that seemed to have worked. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, maybe they updated the requirements. I'm not sure. But for my other project, that's working just fine without this pass role. Without this pass. No, that's not what I wanted. Without the pass role policy. But here it seems to be unnecessary. Weird. Get role, pass role. Then the other project. And that is, yeah, that is weird. That is weird. But okay, I mean, that's how it is. Sometimes it's just it's just like that. Okay, well, it seems to have gone through. Let me check. I can go to this one here. Yep. And that is through GitHub. Let me actually rename that to auto deploy. Auto deploy. Okay. This seems a little bit weird. Okay, then let's create a new commit. Add production action. Okay. Here we go. And then actions should be there. Production release, perfect. And I'm gonna create the status batch first. Okay. I'm gonna add that to the README. Well, no, not quite. I have the production release there. And I'm gonna duplicate that. And have this not dev. Status get all get it. There we go. Okay, well, production release is no status because we didn't do one yet. The dev release is passing. That's great. There should be a new one. There's actually 2 new ones. That's fine. Because we pushed twice, and then that's already went through. Perfect. And see, that's super quick. That's just 1.5 minutes, and then your new version is live. That's just amazing. And then, okay, well, let's create a production release. So here our dev release is already up to date, and this is how it's supposed to be, right? That you just push to the branch and then you automatically deploy, right? But the production server obviously lags behind, right? It doesn't have the auto deploy field yet, and that's obviously just mocking, right? In like, if you actually use this kind of setup, you would make more changes and test those and whatnot, and then at some point deploy to production, right? So here, dev has it already, production doesn't have it already, doesn't have it yet, and then I'm gonna create a new tag, and that's version 1.0.0. And then publish that release, and then we should have a new action run with production. Perfect. So there we go. Now this is gonna take approximately 1.5 minutes, but I think we can wait that long because yeah, that's the final thing that we need to do. Let's see. Yeah, then that's here. So yeah, remember the permissions that you're gonna need. Well, actually, no, we're gonna need probably the pass role, like we just saw. Yeah, it's weird that maybe they updated the requirements. I don't know, but it seems to be the same. So yeah, I have that permission here. And you can also create, so maybe I was a little bit quick with adding the permissions. You can also just create the user and then add an inline policy, and then just paste that in here with replacing the given variable fields here, and then you should be good to go. Okay, let's see. And no status. Go to the action again, and that should have a status. Doesn't have a status. Well, did I not create the correct? Yep. Well, that's not on a branch, but rather on a tag release. Nevertheless, I mean, I'm not gonna worry too much about that right now. I'm gonna fix that. But the more important thing is that this, well, this has gone through, but this now is marked as debug. So let's have a look why that is. Academy, that's okay. This one is the production one, configuration. Weird. Maybe it created a new function because of the rollback that we had earlier. I'm not sure when that happens, but sometimes they tear down the architecture and then add it, like create a new one. I'm not sure what that is about. Well, that would be something you need to monitor. For me, it's the first time it happens. But yeah, even if that happens, I mean, you just dig through it and then you find a solution, hopefully. Okay, well, I think we're at the end. We do have one fully fledged development server running, serverless, and one production one running. And I think that turned out pretty well. I'm actually really happy with the, okay, there we go. It's just a little bit late. I find it really nice and smooth to have it this way. I don't need to worry about the architecture because AWS is basically taking care of that. And the deployments are working just fine. There's no security issue as far as the permissions go because Github Actions are doing that. Yeah, and I can just focus on building things and get them out really, really quickly. And then obviously you can add more. You can add a test run in these GitHub functions. Also, maybe let me know if you wanna know more about that. But yeah, this should be fairly self-explanatory. Okay, well, this is it. This has been the series. Let me know how you liked it. Let me know if you still have any questions, and then see you in the next one.